Evening, YouTube lovers. Welcome to today's episode on Venom on symbiotes. We are Sinemas with an S. Today, we will be giving you our review on Venom, Let There Be a Carnage. Before I begin, you know the drill. You know what is required in order to stay on this channel and become a loyal family member. Because we must subscribe. We must like and share and subscribe and comment on whatever section, on the section below, on whatever movie you love or hate. But now, if you have any questions, you can feel free to answer them to me personally off screen. Alright, so Eddie Brock, who has now been the host of Venom for 2 years straight, is still struggling to coexist with the shape-shifting extraterrestrial symbiote. However, things start to become very dire when the deranged serial killer, Cletus Kasady, also becomes the host of an alien symbiote named Carnage. Along with his partner Shriek, Francis Barrison, Brock and Venom must put aside their differences to help stop his reign of terror. I, for one, can say enough good things about Venom Let There Be Carnage. If not calling it one of the best Marvel movies ever, it is one of the better Marvel movies by Sony. One of the better Spider-Man related films by Sony. After saying that I thought the first Venom movie was decent, you saw that review. If you haven't, go check that out. This one clearly and easily takes it another level. Literally. The Venom sequel is one that proudly and distinctively carries two labels, with it being an odd couple tale and one about a serial killer. There are many moments in this film where the dynamic between Eddie and Venom we see on screen and the current tone is cheesy, outlandish, and very cringeworthy. The irony is that it can get to a point where it is too reminiscent of the cheesiness of the first Venom and then builds upon it. But it also keeps both the bond of the titular character with his host strong enough to help the story flourish. The absolute best moments of this film are anything involving Woody Harrelson's Cletus Kasady. Like, as long as he's on screen, that is when the movie is great. Not okay, great. Like, the first movie was okay. When he's on screen, the movie becomes great. Once Woody Harrelson gets a taste of that symbiote, we see Carnage in all of his glory, tearing up everything that gets in his path, proving to be a robust force of nature that breaks all hell loose like a spider out of hell. The only action scene we get between Venom and Carnage is the type that we want, and that is acceptable for me. Again, everything that had you tilting your head in the first Venom movie will break your neck in this one. Venom Let There Be Carnage doubles up on the level of cheesiness like a double cheeseburger. Because you would think that with how well balanced out everything looks in the trailer, with the comedic tone to the dark and brutal tone set by the antagonist, would make for an overall impressive time at the movies. Unfortunately, this was not going to be the case for everybody. Fortunately, the post-credit scene will make up for everything for as far as how your feelings are toward this movie. And it's been many months since Venom Let There Be Carnage has been in theaters, so it's not really, it wouldn't really be a spoiler to say this, but at the ending of Venom Let There Be Carnage, we see Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock end up in the MCU for that moment, for the time being. And he sees Spider-Man on the TV, and in Venom fashion, he licks across that Tom Holland face. I may have a neutral reaction to the film as a whole, like the first film, but this one has its high anchors, courtesy of the characters and their roles. Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock and his dynamic with Venom is now officially priceless at this moment, since they are the odd couple in the odd couple stage of their symbiosis, which they don't see eye to eye and they're dysfunctional and they don't agree on a lot of things, where Eddie wants one thing, or Eddie's focused on these things, and Venom is focused on other stuff. Venom is focused on a lot of things that are far from what is in Eddie's interest at the moment. Everything they exchange is either weird or worth it. The fact that they split at some point helps them to make space for each other, and it helps to individualize the two once more and remind us as to what made them compatible in the first place, bringing us to the theme of this film, which is compatibility. Throughout the story, like even in the beginning, we learned a little bit about Cletus Kasady, how his life was very incompatible. Everybody around him was very incompatible with him. Therefore, he has become incompatible with everybody, which has caused him to become deranged. Or like he said, what if Cletus Kasady's heart never stopped when he was a baby? Therefore, we wouldn't have seen him toss Granny down the stairs, or throw a hair dryer into the bathtub while mommy was in there, or get jacked off by his father and be sent to the deranged mental hospital for the sick, and then get tortured and harassed by everybody else except his one bright light. So we do learn everything about this character and how he was so marginalized and just abused, and as soon as he was born, I'm not sure, but throughout his life, he's been kicked around, tossed around, thrown under the bus, and drove him down the road of madness. But Woody Harrelson's Cletus Kasady just takes the cake and all the blood. The way he was humanized as a broken child at youth instead of just being a sadistic serial killer is very much like his natural born killer's portrayal, which is the only thing that got him right for this part. Now, as long as we have Carnage in the frame, everybody is bound to enjoy what they see on screen, whether that is Harrelson's on-point effort or the brutal efforts of the symbiote. Anne Wang's Michelle... it was the other way around. Michelle Thomas's Anne Wang and Reed Scott's Dan Lewis are not in this movie as much as they were in the first one, but I love how they get pulled into the circle of danger. Things get real personal there. Now, speaking of dangerous, Naomi Harris's Frances Barrison, aka Shriek, establishes her level of dangerous as being anonymous to Cletus's ability to brutally murder. The role she plays as Cletus's lover in Only Bright Light helps to complement the human side of Kasady's demeanor, and their relationship is one that is insanely unhinged, very Bonnie and Clyde-esque. Stephen Graham's Detective Mulligan, is someone that connects the relationship with some of the characters from Shriek to Kasady, and then hooks him up with Brock, and that brings things into motion. Venom and Carnage's final battle has a much better composition than in the first film with him versus Riot, because I thought the battle with him versus Riot in the first movie was alright. But this one, it was something. It was very much enjoyable. Like I said, it wasn't the best battle you've seen in a Marvel movie, but it's enjoyable, and that's all that matters. From the lighting to the CGI, the choreography, and the analysis of how the symbiotes bond with their respective hosts. Like Eddie and Venom may have their ups and downs when they're in their symbiotic relationship, but at least when they are in combat, they can agree on so much and be on the same accord on everything that they do, as opposed to Cletus and Carnage never looking eye to eye. Cletus has one goal, and Carnage has a whole nother one. Rotten Tomatoes gives this film currently at a 59%, the last time I checked. Venom Let There Be Carnage might not be the best movie experience or the greatest Marvel film of all time, but the highlights are tangibly present. This is most likely due to the odd couple dynamic of Eddie and Venom, Woody Harrelson's Carnage and Naomi Harris's Shriek, and a post-credit scene that breaks the barriers and bridges the gap between the Sonyverse and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I think Venom Let There Be Carnage deserves an 8 out of 10, a B. But that is my review on Venom 2. If you haven't seen it since it came out, you can check it out. I would say it is worth it. But please stay for the post-credit scene. If you've seen this movie, you've seen the post-credit scene, you know that it is a game changer. And then if you've seen No Way Home, and if you haven't seen No Way Home, you probably know what to expect. But that is my review on Venom Let There Be Carnage. If you've seen it, you can let me know how you feel about it in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time.